Welcome to my home office. And hi, I'm Olivia, I'm an interior designer, and welcome back to the continuation of the house tours. And I promised you that we would get onto this one. And today we are in my home studio, which is so beyond exciting. It is a total mess. There is still unpacking to be done. There are random wall units. There is all sorts going on here, but I just thought I would show you a little bit more about this space because for me, having a separate space from the house is truly the dream. And I am just so excited to be able to step out of the house and actually go to work and not be on top of everything at home, and then actually be able to lock the door at the end of the day and be done. So I'll now take you around the space. It isn't vast, but hopefully you can see the potential here. As you can see, it is effectively a converted garage. It has plenty of space, but lots and lots I want to do with it. So let me talk you through what I want to do. We're starting to make a little bit of progress. We've got a nice dresser in here, which really wasn't meant to be here, and the original kind of what are they called? Cork boards. A whole bunch of random storage, but I've managed to sort of get a lot of my samples out onto this dresser, which I'm really happy about. Let me just show you that in a bit more detail. So that's giving me a bit of joy. We've got kind of current client work going on here. Lots of useful bits and bobs, loads of tiles, loads of things going on. And then I have just actually bought myself a brand new big beastie of a computer because I was working from a MacBook Air and it's done pretty well, but it just can't handle all the kind of graphic stuff that I need to do now, whether it be video editing or loads of drawings and AutoCAD and Canva and various kind of Adobe products. It's just, I needed a kind of higher graphics capability, and I have to spend a small fortune on this thing. However, it will see me through now for forever. It's better. But it's a lot more meaty and it can handle a lot more multitasking. Anyway, I don't know, this is not an ad for Apple. I wish. Here is my desk set up. So I've still got the most full intro of all time, which I haven't dealt with yet. The dog's little bed, which is so cute. And then massive screen. I've actually just bought a new screen with like a webcam and everything because obviously I could use my laptop for that before, but it was off center and it was sort of up the chins. It wasn't very professional. And if you've done one of my consultations, you will know that we're on video. Like, we do a lot of stuff where I open your plans up, I share my screen. So actually to have it all here is just going to be a lot more efficient. So then obviously I have my printer and everything like that. So what I would like to do is take this from a kind of kitchen bench height unit, which is great for standing at the moment, but it's not hugely practical for like more than a few hours a day. And obviously I've had to raise my chair up as high as it can go, but it can't go any higher. So what I'd really like to do on this end is basically take the top off. I'm probably gonna have to start from scratch. I don't think I'm going to be able to manipulate these because I think they're about 20 years old and they're really rickety. So what I think I'll do is I'd like to have one big long worktop along the end here under the windows, and then bring it down as far as about where this desk currently is, and basically build into it 3 kind of cubby holes for people. So I can have like me and somebody else, and then that'd be Catherine or whoever in time sitting here, whether my husband needs to work from home one day. Then we can have basically 2 holes for people along there with a laptop, with a computer on each side. And then we can have this L running down here with maybe another kind of cubby hole for the dog. And somewhere to put the printer and all of that sort of stuff, because obviously we don't really want everything out like that. It's not very chic at the moment. So that's the plan for in here. I haven't really done a tour of this room as such because it is literally just this. This is the room. It is what you see, what you get. It's got loads of windows, which is really wonderful, and it's a completely separate building, which I'm obviously delighted about. And then I think what I'll do on this wall here is probably put that dresser back in the house at some point, because it does come apart and we can get it in there, but it's fantastic for now. But what I would then like to do is probably build an amazing sort of pin board, get some beautiful fabric and make like a padded kind of studded pin board where I can pin up my current projects, my own project, and I can have it all out on display. And then as the room wraps around in this direction, where we have some sort of slightly random cupboards up on the wall there, I don't know what they had underneath it. It would have been interesting to see actually. And then in this side, I think I'm going to do floor to ceiling storage. So pretty much from the door all the way into that corner, I just want to do floor to ceiling storage. All my samples, I just have so much stuff. Maybe the top half will be open for sort of a nicer like tiling and flooring and all that sort of stuff, but the bottom I think will be drawers or big deep cupboards that I can fill with baskets that have all my fabric samples and everything like that in it, because I have a lot of them and they're not particularly beautiful when they're all in their boxes. So I think maybe we do like open deep storage where we can have attractive baskets beneath, like that would work too. Anyway, so that's that back wall, then the door, then we've got this desk area which will be like a low surface, then kind of pin boards around here with nice big desk along here. And I've got some really fun, let me just put you down. I have some really fun plans for wallpaper in here. I'm thinking really botanical, really bold, really kind of full on. Wrap it up all over the ceiling. So many ideas for in here. Paint the windows, paint the woodwork a really cool contrasting colour, paint the units, and then have a lovely kind of big fabric pinboard, as I said. So loads to do in here, lots of joinery, and joinery is expensive, but I'm hoping that I can show you some ways to sort of make it a little bit cheaper. I mean, one of those ways, for example, is rather than doing a full unit with drawers, is to do an open, non-doored, you know, an open fronted unit, which is just basically a carcass with a bunch of baskets that fit perfectly. So yeah, that is what I'm thinking for now. In here, any questions you have on it, let me know. Any suggestions of wallpaper that you really love, let me know. I don't know yet what wallpaper or who I'm going to go with. I haven't even got samples for it yet, and there is just so many options. So if you can think of anything really cool, this is a garden room. I'm in our garden here, so I look out onto our garden, onto greenery, onto, you know, so it'd be nice to sort of keep it like botanical and fun, but equally it's going to be in the background for all the consultations I do. I'm going to film in here a lot, so it's got to be fun. It's got to be kind of maximalist and representative of me, but not super overstimulating, because I do spend the best part of every day in here. That's my office. What do you think? Lots to do, lots to think about. So there we have it. I hope you will stick around and come back for the garden tour, because I am yet to film that, I'm afraid, but I promise that I will. I keep meaning to do it, and I'm wearing a nice dress and whatever, and then it starts pouring down with rain, or I keep going to do it and then I find that my husband has thrown a whole load of crap into the garden which is due to go to the tip, and I just can't bring myself to film with rolls and rolls of carpet around the garden. So I will get to it, I promise you I will. You may see some snippets of it in one of my weekly vlogs that I'm going to be putting out, because I was putting up the greenhouse and I filmed a bit of that. So you may get a sneak peek there, but there's lots more to it than that, and I promise to take you through it. So make sure you come back for that. Make sure you come back for the vlogs. I'm going to try and get them out weekly. Not going to make any promises because life very often gets in the way and we're a bit behind on what I intended to be doing, but I just wanted to say the most enormous thank you for some of the most constructive and helpful comments in my second house tour video, I think, where I was talking about heating and some of the complications of living in a house of this age and it being listed. And you guys are so kind, and you have come up with so many helpful suggestions for us, and you've given the pros and the cons and your first-hand experience. So thank you so much, because I've gone through them all with a fine-tooth comb. I can't reply to every single one, but thank you, and I'm super grateful, because it's given us a lot to think about, and it's actually been incredibly helpful to just hear from you directly what your thoughts are on the systems that you have. It's not the most glamorous part of this kind of job, but it's so important that we get the infrastructure right before we start flapping around with paints. And I'm the first person to start flapping around with paints, I realise, and it is fun and it's hard not to get caught up in that. Look, I'm in a white box right now working, so there will be lots of glamorous things happening in here. Well, fun things happening in here. So you better stay tuned for that. But yeah, just a big thank you. Thanks so much for being here, and I hope you continue to enjoy the videos that I'll be putting out. The fact I kept the instructions is genuinely a minor miracle. It's the sort of thing I would always throw away. There you go. That's what we're building. It's a really good size though, look. Like you can, it's a proper walk-in, stand up. It gets like a load of condensation in it, so I always get wet hair when I go in. But obviously it's doing its job. It is, yeah, 1.4 metres square. Oh, interesting. I didn't ever think it was square, but yeah, 1.4 metres squared, and it's nearly 2 metres tall. And it's not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, but it's really effective, and it's going back up. I'm actually so proud of the way that I packed this up. Everything is like bound together with an elastic band, kept in its group. So that's like guy ropes. Each of the different lengths of the poles are all together in one elastic band. So not the way I would normally do something, so I'm actually really pleased that I did it. I did it this way. Don't you love this? Step one. All that. Just put it together, step one, put it together. Oh, so something that I am trying to work on is this area here. We've just had some fencing put back on this, so dog kind of proof fencing put back on this bit here. They cleared a bit around the fence, but obviously you can see there's a hell of a lot of crap here, and what I'd like to do is put my greenhouse here. Now, greenhouse is a loose word. It was a 60 quid plastic job, which my mum very sweetly gave me in our last house, because I was really suddenly like getting into gardening, and she's a mad gardener, and so I really desperately wanted one so that I could grow stuff. We were living kind of on the outskirts of London, and oh, it's so good. So I want to put that back up here. One day I would, literally my dream is to have like an Alatex or a Hartley Botanic greenhouse, or maybe like a Rhino one for something a bit less flashy. But we have a sort of second part of the garden which we need to do a load of landscaping to, and then I think I'll put it there. But in the interim, I plan to just do a bit of work to this today to try and get it to a point where I can build the greenhouse back, you know, re-put it back together again and have it here, so that at least for the rest of the summer I have somewhere to put my gardening bits and kind of get back into that. I mean, like, I know that this is not the time of year to be like trying to grow anything particularly, I don't think, but at least I have somewhere to put my pots and everything like that. So that is my plan today, and I will show you a bit of that. This tree, sadly, I think is ash, and it is not in a good way. So I think really sadly it's going to have to come down, which is pretty heartbreaking, but at the same time we can't quite see, but all kind of over there where those pots are, the roots are sticking out of the ground so massively that it's just ruining that side of the garden. Obviously if it wasn't dying we wouldn't be taking it out, but I think maybe dead is the right word, I don't know. I think it has to go, which is really heartbreaking, because trees are incredible. So that's really sad, but we will do so much kind of landscaping gardening here that will involve new plants, so I think we'll probably compensate for it. Anyway, God knows what I'm going to find here, but I need to go and find a rake and all that sort of stuff and just try and level out this bit of ground. I do have better gloves, by the way. I just can't find them at the moment. I don't know where all my proper gardening stuff is, so I actually have some nice Noaki ones, but I'm going to have to wear these today. Oh well. Bingo! They were just in the bag, I was being thick. Guys, these are the best. These are the Noaki ones. They're like 6-7 quid, and they're thin, so you can, ooh, something in there, so you've got like a bit of dexterity. This is so neat. And then they come in different sizes. I don't know what size these are, but these are the purple ones. And then you can get winter ones, which are blue, and they have fleecy, they're like thick and they have fleecy lining, and they go into like small girl hand sizes too, so you're not walking around like, technical term that. Anyone know what this crap is? It looks like this. There's so much of it, and oh, it's quite similar to what's behind the camera. There's some honeysuckle as part of this, what I'm looking at behind, but I'm not sure what that is. If you could tell me if it's something I should be mindful of spreading. Is it a bad weed? Like, what are we dealing with here? I'm going to pull up as much of it as I can by hand, which is quite hard work, but I can't really think of a better way other than just a spade. Change of plan. It's too much to pull out by hand, so what we're going to do is we're going to, and it's super invasive, whatever it is, I just don't want it regardless, so we're going to strim it, get it all back down, and then we've got a whole load of cardboard boxes from the move, which I'm going to then use as a like weed membrane, and then I'll put my greenhouse on top. Now, because I'm not planning to grow a load of things this summer and do loads of watering and stuff, it shouldn't matter that there's not a huge amount of drainage available there. I'll just have to do my watering elsewhere, obviously, because the cardboard won't be kind of broken down enough yet. But obviously you just need to make sure you remove the tape and everything off it, but it's then a great barrier to stop invasive stuff coming back up. It's not going to stop it perfectly because it's not a contained bed, like it will probably find its way out if it is a super invasive thing. I still don't know what it is. Yeah, new plan. Hey guys, I am just trialling a really cool new bit of tech that I've kindly been given some access to. It's called Reno, like your Renault, and I've known about it for a while, and I'm just trying to now make the transition to see whether it's something that I think I could use full-time for my clients, and I think it probably is. It's an amazing piece of software that allows you to effectively plot your home, make a plan of your home without really complex planning software, without having to use things like AutoCAD or any of the really complex computer-aided design pieces of tech which you need a degree in, literally. And it's what we use professionally, but it's just nuts to have to use something like that for your own home. So this is an absolute breath of fresh air, and I think you guys are going to love this. So I'm hoping that we might be able to work together, Reno. But I'm actually just doing a very brief plan for what is currently a shower room, turning it into a utility room. And so I don't know whether you'll be able to see it on my screen, but let me flip this around. So what we have here is a very rough kind of drawing of the shape of the room that we're working with. And currently, I will insert a picture so you can see, but currently this end is occupied by a shower. Then got this ridiculously oversized sink here and a loo that is so tucked into this corner, you can't open the door if you were sitting on it, for example, like your knees are about there. This is also the interior of the house here and the external wall here, so it's kind of insane that the loo is where it is. There's obviously a reason for that, and I can't quite work out why, because there is actually no soil pipe on the outside here. Anyway, lots of digging to do. I need to just do some plotting, but I think what we're going to do is basically block off this end with washer, dryer, stack, and some hanging, and then potentially have it wrapping around, having a sink here, maybe having a sink here, TBC. But this is just so cool because look, if I just want to change this wall, I just change the length here. That can either apply to the parallel wall or not, thickness of the wall and so on. You can also sort of change like the type, so you can do what kind of wall it is. So really I should be putting here type external to show that that's an external wall. And then I'm pretty sure, there we go, look, corner. And then you can also, like, if I wanted to add in another wall here, there. So if I wanted to do a partition, I could. You can do bay windows, you can do weird wonky walls, you can do pretty much everything here. What do these do? Let's see. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what this is yet. Oh, look. Uh-oh. Yeah. So you can pull it, shape it, do whatever you want. And then I will show you the next stage. Look, this is so cool. So then down here, I'm just going to say add, and we're going to scroll down to the section that has, where are you? Laundry. And I want a double stack. So full height washer, dryer. And look, I just need to turn it 90 degrees. So, oh no, I've moved the door. Disaster. As you can tell, I am very much learning how this works. But look, we turn this 90 degrees and look, I can just see that it fits perfectly in that corner. So now I can see that in that space, I can come in. I've probably got enough room to, I'll measure this dimension in a second. Let me just see how I do this. Measure. I'm sure there's a way to measure that. I need to work out how to do this. I can get a washer dryer in that corner there, so I can come into the room and I can have my washer dryer stack. That is so cool. And then look, I think I can go wall elevations. Oh my God, look, door elevation. This is unreal. And look, there's my washer dryer built into a unit. Oh, this is so cool. And then obviously I need to build the rest of the room, but wow, wow, wow. This is unreal. Now I think room elevations. Yeah, so if I've actually like designed the room, which I haven't done yet, you'll be able to see it in its full glory. But guys, this is, I think, a potential massive game changer for you. So I'm going to do my best to work with these guys properly and try and get you guys some kind of deal, discount, something, because I think this will be an absolute game changer. God, I've used that word too much, but I do think this will be pretty transformational for anyone doing their own reno, because for me, I don't want to go and draw all my plans. I don't have my house drawn up yet architecturally. I do need to do it because we are going to do bigger work, so that will happen. What I'd be interested to know is, sorry, my brain is flitting everywhere here, because I wonder whether you can take a DWG file that you've had done by your architects, or maybe a PDF, and import it into this, because maybe you don't want to draw up your entire house. However, doing room by room is insane. Like, this is so cool. And for me, this is so perfect right now, because I just want to make sure that it fits without having to draw the whole thing up on CAD, draw up a washing machine. Like, I do have a whole library of that stuff, which I use for other jobs, but this is just way more user-friendly. And like, most of you won't know how to use CAD. Why would you? Duh. So, I shall report back. We have had the biggest transformation in here you can imagine. I've taken loads of footage, so I'll show you the before and after. But I don't know if there's anything you can spot that's missing here. That was a real howler. Oh, I need to unknot that curtain. Might give you an idea of what we were doing. But look at the difference in the space in the room and the way it feels. Let me spin you around. So, excuse the cushions that have detritus, but look at the difference in this floor. Oh my God. There's still quite a lot of crap, and we need to build in here. So if anyone's got any really cool suggestions of what we should do in this space, then please let me know. Obviously, men and TVs mean that we need something quite big, so we would like to really build a beautiful unit in there where we can hide the TV away and I can shut it off and not have to think about it unless I want to watch it. And I should also say we've got this So we probably use that for some log storage down below and then maybe come up with something clever here. But in the meantime, look at the difference. It's a complete game changer. That was a wedding present, that massive lamp, and it actually works in that corner. And then what we've done is we've brought the sofa away from the wall, and I'd like to put a console down here to just disguise the fact that you've got kind of a radiator in an awkward space. And then what we'll probably do is get 2 smaller armchairs to go there, and then a lovely big kind of sideboard unit, maybe some puffs, little stools, and then that would all be built in, which I think below will have storage, and then we'll try and, I'll see if I can get a smaller TV in the top there, and then we should have a really lovely space. So we need obviously to completely redecorate in here, but just taking up that carpet has been monumental in terms of how different this room feels. Right, I better go and knot the curtains. But that has been a very, very productive Sunday. We have a huge pile of carpet to go to the tip now. Just another carload to go to the tip. But, oh, what joy. So I think, yeah, I mean, it's completely not finished. We don't really have side tables. We don't have a console. We don't really have the right kind of furniture to put in here. But at least as the room goes, that dreaded carpet is no longer, and we have found something underneath it. We obviously need to try and find out what's underneath this. But if it is wooden floor, I think sadly it will have been absolutely trashed by the screed that would have been put down for this to be here. But beggars can't be choosers at this stage. So look, completely different. So much better. So happy. Welcome back to the Reno Diaries. Now, you find me in the conservatory with these really fetching red blinds, which are hideous but extremely effective. So this is one thing I want to talk to you about. So obviously this is a conservatory. Let me try to show you. There we go. So it's more of it's actually wooden framed. It's got nice French doors. As conservatories go, it's a good conservatory. I'm not a fan of said things, but it is going to tide us over for the next couple of years until we get planning to do what we'd like to do here. And I am just thanking my lucky stars that it is double glazed, it is wooden, and it is made really well. And I had a house before, well, it was it was the second house that my husband and I rented together, and that had a conservatory, and it was so plasticky and it rattled and it had gaps. So this is incredible in comparison. So what I plan to do in here is to just get very friendly with a paintbrush and totally kind of inject some life into this room. I'm thinking we paint the walls and the sort of dwarf walls under where you are and the big wall across here and behind me in a sort of taupey pinky beige. It's a very, very bright room, so it can take probably quite a dark neutral, which won't look that dark. It will actually look reasonably sort of nothingy, which is kind of the point, because then what I plan to do is paint all of the woodwork, all of the windows, all of the doors, all of the woodwork in a kind of sagey green. Somewhere between sagey and appley green, to basically make it disappear. Because I think at the moment, that's inside, by the way. Outside is a whole other question, and I don't think it would be worth doing, really. Our house is listed, which I'm sure I've said before, so we can't just go and whack some green paint on the conservatory outside. But we can absolutely do what we want inside, to a point. So what I think will happen is if we paint all of the sort of frame, the structure of it in a colour that will effectively blend into the surroundings, then hopefully it will feel like a bit more of an extension of the garden rather than a sort of big white box that's been plonked on the house. So that's my plan for the short term in here. And then the other thing I'd really like to do, because these are essential to not making this place like an oven, I would really like to replace these blinds. And obviously I just need to do something about the lighting. I don't know if you can see. Let me change the angle. Can you see this wired lighting that runs across here? Well, it's not very effective and it's pretty hideous. So I think that's going to come down, and the fan is totally pointless. So what I think I might do, it just isn't very effective at all. And having had a fan in a previous conservatory, they don't do shit. So there's no point. We might as well put our air conditioning unit in here in the summer if it gets too boiling. That has power, obviously. So what I intend to do is take off this track lighting, take off this fan, and put in a lovely central pendant that's got kind of multiple lights across the pendant to act as the sort of central light source here. And then of course we have lamps and look how glamorous this house is right now. So not. Hoover, dog food, a big box of Dash and Trip, and all the stuff that we're taking to the car boot this weekend, some wine. It's just, yeah, moving house is a joy, isn't it? And 2 completely random sketch pictures that are on hooks from the previous owner. So they're so high, they don't look right here. Anyway, this is what we have to do. So, but what I also want to show you is just the sort of state of these blinds, because as effective as they are absolutely minging. And I think they're probably 30-ish years old, and there's no way of cleaning something like this without totally taking them down. They would probably rip because they're made of paper. We can probably all agree that those need to be replaced, and in order to make this room usable for the next few years, we do have to have them. So what I'm after, and I'm struggling to find this, because what I'm struggling to find is a motorised, because at the moment what I have to do is, can you see, I don't know that you can, on Winnie, shush please. On each of these blinds, there is a little plastic like tab on the top of each one, and you have to get a pole and you have to slot the end of the pole into the tab, and then you can manually pull up and down each one, which is why we've left them up, because, you know, I don't know how many there are, 20. It's just too much of a faff. So back to what I'm after. I am after some sort of bamboo or cane or woven effect blinds that are motorised, that are completely bespoke, because of course each of these panes is totally different, and this conservatory was probably not entirely bespoke. I'm sure it's a reasonably sort of off the peg design, but there are so many different sizes of window here that it would be impossible for me to measure every single one myself and then go and buy those blinds and have them installed. Well, it wouldn't be impossible, but it would just be a ridiculous job. It would be, I don't trust my measurements is kind of what I'm saying. I would prefer that somebody came in and helped me with it. But I really want that woven natural look, and I really, really want them to be motorised so that I can just press a button, like with other blinds that we've had that are on more standard windows, and you charge up the main kind of control maybe once a year, or their mains powered, because we could do that here. So if you have any suppliers that do that, I've done that kind of blind for lots of other windows, but I've never had to do it for a conservatory before, so I don't quite know where to look, because a lot of my normal suppliers don't offer this sort of concept, because obviously they would all need to be connected to one another, and it's just quite complicated. So please let me know if you have done any blinds like this. I know there are companies like Hillary's, and I can't remember, you see them advertised a lot. I've never used them, so I have no idea what they're like, and I would just love some input from you guys as to whether you've done this before. Anyway, that's in here. Now the other bit of progress that I want to show you is the sitting room, where we have had a monumental change on the flooring front. So I'm going to insert a bit of B-roll now for you to see how big a difference that has made. Now the other thing we have done is we've had some electrics done in our bedroom. So let me just flip this and I'll show you. So you can probably see where the wall lights previously were, much higher and off to one side in the room. We're not keeping these wall lights for obvious reasons. I think they look a bit like boobs. They're also just wrong for this particular light. Oh, okay, Wynne, you make yourself at home there, darling, no problem. So these have been moved and they are ready to be replaced with some, I'm going to get 2 sconces that are on a kind of articulated arm so that they can be pulled forward and towards us when we're in bed reading. Now this bed is not staying, this bed has been through the walls, as you can see, well it was moved. Grim, let's not talk about that. We're getting a new bed and it's a much taller, slimmer headboard. It's the same size mattress, but the headboard sort of pops up and down here, so that's why I've placed them where I've placed them. Anyway, that's changed, we've got new sockets. So yeah, that's changed, we've got new sockets, we've got some of the Corsten USB sockets, so it's amazing, it's kind of freed up the actual sockets and we just plug our phone chargers like straight into the USBs. It's not groundbreaking, they're everywhere now, but I just think they're really good. And we're still umming and ahhing with wallpaper in here. It's going to be something leafy, probably botanical, florally. I shall let you know as soon as I know. And then the other bit that I want to show you is this bathroom, because this has got to change. This loo doesn't really work. There's obviously some plumbing situation in here that makes it not very effective, shall we say. So that has been banished to a singular form of use. Thankfully we have other loos in the house, but that needs to be upgraded. And then we're going to take this bath out and turn this into a lovely big walk-in shower. You can see we've got really good ceiling heights. We've got a really dodgy electric heater here which needs to go, so we need a really nice big towel rail, and then obviously this floor has got to change. I don't even need to explain to you why. And then of course we need a nice big new vanity with a proper mirror and some proper storage, and we'll get rid of these tiles. You know what, I'm actually slightly fond of the fruit tiles. I won't be keeping them, but I have got a box full of them if anyone wants them. I was going to take them to the car boot sale this weekend, so they might be gone by the time that you see this, but really that's what we plan to do. So here we're going to have a really nice big walk-in shower. We probably won't quite fit his and hers vanity, but just something big enough with a nice big sink with like 2 sides for plenty of space and plenty of storage, because we really need to pack it in. We are slightly short of storage in this house. There is a whole heap of shelves behind the door there, but I'd actually prefer to put a door on the front of those shelves, kind of create a false wall down this length of the room, and put some sliding doors on that to create more storage that's hidden behind the door, and then build in a kind of further false wall to build some shower alcoves or niches so that we can put some shelving in the shower, because there's nothing more annoying to me than when people go to all this effort of this lovely new bathroom, they spend a fortune on everything, and then this one detail that they forget is for bottle storage in your shower, and then you've got this amazing new shower with these beautiful tiles and this amazing tap and shower and and you've got shampoo bottles swimming around on the floor. No, please don't do that. I know it's super easy to forget, and I know builders get really stroppy if you try and add it in later, because of course they do. You actually need to do it before the stud work goes up so that they know where to put the holes in. It's a whole thing. But please, I'm waving that flag for you now. Make sure you do that. I will probably try and extend, where are we? Probably try and extend, this is a bit of a false wall. So I'll probably try and extend this straight flat to then house those niches. Usually I'd want to put them on the shower end, but actually it's not super wide here, so we probably won't be able to do it, and we certainly won't be able to do it on this back wall. So this would make the most sense. I need to think about so many elements in here. I need to think about the electrics and the plumbing to begin with. Well, let's take a step back. We need to rip it out. So I need to, this is our ensuite, by the way. So this is the priority bathroom. The bathroom upstairs is completely fine, and the other bathroom is going to become a utility. So that's happening at the same time. But with this bathroom, obviously it's right off our bedroom. So it's kind of important that it's right. So I need to think about getting it gutted, really. Quite a lot of that my husband can probably do. We just need to get the plumbing capped before we try and do any of that, and then he can rip it all out. We are going to have to totally start from scratch because the flooring needs to go. We need to completely work out why the loo is where it is. There is probably a reason for it, because most plumbers will not choose to put a loo on an internal wall. This is very much an internal wall, and the waste has got to go a long way to get out of the house. That being said, I can't currently find a waste pipe on the outside of the house on this side of the building, so I'm a bit confused by where it's going, / mildly concerned that it's going underground and out the other way, which nobody wants. So we may need to come up with another solution. I don't know, I need to talk to a plumber and work out what's going on, get a better loo, replace the floor, work out what we're doing with the electrics. We've currently got 3 really random spotlights in here, so I'd like to just take those 3 out, put one central light in. It's not a huge space. If we do a glass door on the shower, or just a glass partition, that light will spread easily. I hate being in bright light in the shower. So does my husband. Nobody wants to be under spotlights. Well, some people do. It's a debate I had with my client the other day. Most lovely clients, husband and wife, have completely different opinions, as per, very, very normal. But the husband likes to be in a very bright space the first thing in the morning. So he wakes up, he goes to the bathroom, and he likes that like ding, 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 ding light sort of all over coming on. I don't, thankfully. I am married to someone who does not, so we will not be doing that. One nice big flush mount light in the centre of the room, really good extractor. We've got a window, so we need a lovely blind, and then we need to just get the function of the room right, get a lot of storage in here, and beautify it. I don't know whether we will do a wallpaper in this room. I don't think we will, because there's a chance that this is a bit of a damp space. Not just because it's a bathroom, of course, but actually because of the way that this building was built. I think it just has a tendency to be just slightly damper than some of the rest of the house. It gets morning sun, but yeah, I just have a sneaky feeling that it might not be the best thing to do. So I think we should just keep everything super breathable and go from there. So that is plans for this bathroom. I've obviously got a whole plan I need to put together, but we'll get there. I will put up a plan. If I've made one, I will share. Well, I've got some inspiration images for this bathroom, so I'll make sure that I try to dot them through this video so you can see what's going on. And that is it. So I think I will end this video here because we are creeping onto another week, and otherwise I'm going to completely overload you. So I'll leave this video here. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you for subscribing if you already do, and if you don't, please could you? Thank you. It would make the world of difference to me, and it really helps me with so many areas to sort of grow this channel, spend more time on this channel. The more subscribers I have, the more time I can justify being here, the more I can show you, the more detail I can show you, and hopefully in the not too distant future we will have some actual tangible things that are changing that I can show you, because right now it's a lot of theory, but I promise you that the theory will very soon turn into action. Our bedroom we plan to have finished by the end of September, so it's not long to wait to see the first before and after. But thank you very much for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.